Welcome to PA Timber Goose. Another lovely Saturday morning. Very steamy. I don't think I'm going to get rained out this weekend. Today we're at Rausch Gap, and I rode my bike back in. They rebuilt the entire Stony Valley Rail Trail with gravel. It's very loose. They're putting culverts in. Lots of wildlife on the rail trail. Today we're going to check out some abandoned mine ruins, and currently I'm below the shelter. I'm about half a mile below the shelter. There's lots of retaining walls and slag piles in here. Hopefully my camera won't fog up. Let's pop the lens off here. It's very steamy in here. Yeah, that's a little better. GoPro likes to steam up when it's very humid outside. And even the inside of the camera will steam up because it runs so warm. Sometimes it gets very hot. Lots of stonework in here. Last time I was through here on my hike, I knew I was going to come back. I just didn't know when I was going to get back here. But it almost looks like a drainage ditch. And there's some stonework up there. I bet there's a mine entrance there. Let's take a walk down here. It's an awesome spot to camp if you're hiking the AT. There are many places to hike down here. This actually looks like the old railroad bed. The one that nobody knows is here. Unless you watch another famous YouTuber. I think this is the railroad bed. There's a wall there. Let's check out some of the stonework up here. Pack's kind of heavy today. I have 3 liters of water because I know it's going to be very humid today. Take a quick pan around. It's very beautiful in here. Lots of places to camp in here. Here's my hideous band-aid. Electrical tape over a butterfly. My finger is healing up. Thank goodness. Let's take a look up here on this trail. Let's see what's hiding up here. Gotta keep my eye out for rattlesnakes today. I don't want to step on any. Nice little trail coming up here. I see a stone wall. A couple of stone walls. Want to get a workout today. It's very steep in here. Rausch Gap shelter is up on top of this hill, and we'll climb up the front of here. We'll ever take a look at that. Lots of stonework in here. This could have been a coal breaker. There's a wall there. There's one there. There's one over there. No mortar in the joints, just cut stone stacked very tightly. I'm amazed that some of this stonework is still intact. Over 100 years ago, and it's still there. Let's go up the hill here, get a better look. Something was definitely here. You have 2 walls there. Yeah, one there, one there. Some kind of foundation over there. I imagine there was a gravity-fed water tank back here somewhere for the train when it came through, and it might have been up on one of these foundations. All right, let's take a hike up the top of this hill, and we'll go over and take a look at the shelter. Quite a hike coming up there. Quads are on fire, but a nice view up here. You can see how far down that is. The camera does it no justice. It's almost a vertical climb. The stonework was down here on the left, and it's not where I thought I would come out, but I am directly behind the AT shelter, standing on top of another slag pile, and we'll take a walk up to the shelter here. Pretty nice place up here to camp too if you're on the AT. And there was a mine. I did take a look at that When I came through here on the AT last year, if you check out the video, you can see that. I'm not sure if I showed that on there or not, but there is a mine back here, along with a giant boulder field. There's a reason why this is called Stony Creek. This is a boulder field from the Ice Age. All right, let's take a stroll down here to the AT shelter. Here's the outhouse. It smells really bad. It's kind of ripe. That's a hideous aroma. 3 hikers so far. 1 female, 2 men, and he probably just crawled out of. He probably just woke up this morning, finished their breakfast, and took off. There's 2 kind of hikers on the trail that you meet. Got the section hikers like myself, and then you got the through hikers. Through hikers are after miles. Section hikers like myself, it's more about the hike and the camping and the tranquility of being on the trail. I have a couple trips planned for the fall. Hopefully the rain will hold out and we won't get a drought. That's contingent on how much rain we get this summer. All right, here's the trail. Visit number 3 in the past year. Here's our mouse busters. Let's take a walk down the steps here. Everything's wet, so it's slippery, and it's extremely humid today. Hoping my camera doesn't fog up. Here's our mouse busters. The tin can will knock the mouse off the string, and you can put your food on here. Rausch Gap shelter, gateway to St. Anthony's Wilderness. Let's fill out a log book. Find a pen in here. Hopefully nothing's going to bite me. There we go. Over here on the side, this is my favorite spot here. Wonder how much water's coming out of the pipe. Let's take a look here. There can't be a lot coming out. If you're on the AT right now, as dry as it is, you're going to struggle to find some water. That doesn't look too bad. That actually looks pretty good. Very small trickle coming out there. Just enough. Plenty of water in there. That water's actually not too bad. It does kind of have an odd flavor. I'm not sure if it's mine drainage or it's just a taste of the stainless steel pan that it's in. Stainless steel can kind of have an odd flavor too. Let's fill out the logbook here. I'll be in my bag. Come on out of there. Here we go. Got him out of there. I always like filling out these logbooks. Pen my words of wit in the logbook. This is what I wrote in the logbook. PA Timber Ghost, drifting through the forest like a ghost, enjoying what was created, making my videos as I hike along. Hikers are awesome people, always friendly. A friendly greeting or an ear to listen will make the world a better place. One act of kindness at a time. See you out there, PA Timber Ghost. At PA Timber Ghost 1. Lots of cool stuff in this logbook. Sometimes it's just one sentence. Sometimes it's a whole paragraph. The AT on streams the pain instead. It washes away the thoughts in my brain and replaces them only with mundane like why would I leave the dry? Just to climb some mountains up high, a path of pith, rocky and stony, up dragon spine, a back so bony. I'm not complaining if it rhymes. Limp Pickles. That's a good one, Limp Pickles. You should put your email address on there. Still singing in the rain, still singing in the rain. Can't understand that. My penship isn't much better. Lots of Baba news today. Want them all to be my friend. Please, thank you. Phoenix. That's on 6/23. Chilling overnight at the Pinnacle. Sailors stopped for a break in early stupor before moving on for a few more mice today. I guess that's miles. Some of these are actually funny. The whole front of this book is full. Now, we're not going to read all that today. There's a Rausch Creek Shelter logbook. Start something new today. We're going to start a geocache. There's $1 million bill. If you ever wanted $1 million bill, there it is. I have my web address on there, my channel. And Paul Revere is on the front, so you can't spend it. But if you're looking for a geocache, find PA Timber gives his $1 million bill. It'll be in the logbook here. I'm going to put this in the back of the logbook. There's some cool artwork in the back. Whoever did that, that's awesome. I am not an artist. I am not a musician. I wish I could do either one, but unfortunately I cannot. Alright, here's your $1 million bill. We're going to hide this in the back of the logbook. And if you want to find it, it's in this book. Put this back in the mailbox. And put the pen back in the book where it was. Somebody finds that $1 million bill, let me know. You can drop me a comment. Let's put this back in the mailbox. Alright, there we go. Close the door. Here's your AT sticker, Appalachian Trail, Maine to Georgia. Alright, let's continue up the mountain here. Let's check out some of the abandoned mines and ruins on the top of this mountain. We'll see you up there. Getting kind of cloudy. Hopefully it won't rain. Got the raincoat out. I'm ready just in case. This time I'm prepared. Full rain suit, and I have an 8x10 tarp with me. Lots of sign in here from the previous mines. I'm not sure how many coal mines are in this area. The information you can find online is very limited. The best thing to do is walk around in here. There's a telltale sign of some acid mine drainage over there. Rausch Creek gets a lot of drainage going into it. The limestone water treatment plant at the end helps greatly, but you have to have enough water flow to make it work. There's some more orange water coming out of the left side here. Wonder how many people work this area. Here's where the water's coming from right there. Lots of slag piles in here. More cool campsites. It's so beautiful back in here. Rausch Gap is like its own ecosystem. There's so much wildlife in here. And thankfully it's all state game lands. It'll be protected forever. Let's go back up here to the trail. Start hiking up. It's very steep. It's fairly dark in here. A lot of clouds going by today. It's kind of still kind of steamy. Humidity's probably about 100%. Today I have some serious flashlight power. I have my 3-night catapult with me, so we should be able to find an opening here somewhere. Here's the first mine. On this side, right there, it kind of drains down out of the bottom under the AT here. Here's down the other side. By 1900, most of Pennsylvania was clear cut, and a lot of the timber ended up building houses, supporting the mine structures as timbers, railroad timbers, and before that all the iron furnaces consumed about an acre a day. The more I look around, the more iron furnaces I seem to find. A few weekends ago, I was at Pool Forge, and there's a furnace there. And then I found two more down the road in Morgantown. And then you have one up at Johanna State Park. There's an iron furnace there, so there's a cluster in there. Coal actually has more energy than wood. You can heat a 4,000 square foot house with a 5-gallon bucket of coal, and that'll burn all night if you have a big enough stove. And if you would do that with wood, it would take maybe half a quart or a quarter of a quart of wood to heat that same area. Coal is very important. We ran the old steam engines with it. Coal was used to heat the house. Make steel. In order to use coal for steel, you have to cook it in a coke oven, and it becomes a powder, and it's an additive to the steel. My dad was a steel worker for 45 years before he retired, and his whole family were steel workers. They all worked at Lucan Steel, which is in Coatesville, PA, which currently is owned by Mattel. Mattel, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's Mattel. But he actually was a part of the process for the booster cones for the space shuttle. The M1 Abram tanks, they were drawing lines on the plate for the turrets. So my dad was involved in a lot of interesting things in the steel mill. Building America, making America a stronger and better place for everybody. Coal has its place, and some of our power still comes from coal. Not as much as it used to. Didn't have to walk too far. Here's a spot that's beside it. Nice chunks of coal in here. Shame I don't have a coal stove. That one looks pretty interesting. Here's our first mine. That looks like it subsided. It's about 20 foot deep there. Let's follow this up here. See where it goes. Lots of slag piles in here. You always seem to find that galvanized bucket that's been sitting there. People were picking coal with almost at every mines as you walk along. Hopefully that sun will stay out. Let's follow the seam up and see where it goes. Yeah, it's still going up the mountain. That's pretty steep in there. Here's a pile of slag there. Here's another pile there. Nobody's half tempted to walk in there, but not willing to take that chance. You never know what's going to happen in the ground. You could fall down a hole and never be found again. So peaceful back here. Mountains of slag came out of there. I was wondering how many yards of debris they dug out of their mines by hand. Blast it, pick it, shovel it, throw it in the car and pull it out. Look at that. Still going. There's a cave in over there. They're still going up. Still going. It's quite a climb. There's another cool campsite over here. Let's see how high up we are. That's quite a coal seam. I'm about 60 feet in the air, and I followed that over 100 yards so far. Let's look down over the edge here. I don't think we're up too high. Can't be too far above the trail. The AT should be right on the other side there. Definitely a cool spot here. I wonder if this is one big mine, or it just had a lot of small ones that connected, and they were pulling the coal out of the sides. Definitely cool. It's definitely a big mine. Let's keep going up. Let's see where this stops at. I've walked past this I don't know how many times over the years. This is the section of the AT that I hike the most. This is probably my favorite spot of the AT to hike. So I've walked through this area quite a few times, and I never actually came up here and looked to see what's up here. It's still going. Yeah, that looks like the end of it right there. Bottomed out. Huge piles of coal dirt all the way up the other side. Nah, still going. That is not the end. It's still going up the side of the mountain. I think he was up there pretty high on that side too. Turn you off, and if I can find the end of that, I'll turn the GoPro back on. Looks like that one keeps going up the mountain. I'm not going to follow that all the way up. That was probably a coal seam on the top they dug out. Here's another hole here. Let's go around the other side here. Very slippery in here. You just stay upright. See if we can see down in this one here. Let's take a look down in this one here. This one doesn't look too deep. Lots of newts on the way. They seem to be everywhere today. Coming up Stony Valley Rail Trail at the bottom end there where they were working. It looked like an orange carpet. There were so many of them there. I was doing my best not to step on them. Yeah, no hole here. That must have caved in there. No opening there. Alright, the search will continue. Here's a cool find in the woods. There's a lot of algae on it, so it's hard to say. I don't know if the camera can pick this up. It actually looks like tree bark. There's a lot. It's kind of green, but it looks like there's some kind of an animal track in the fossil. If this was dry, you could probably see it better. There's like some kind of a little footprints walking across there, and you can see the ribs on the stone. It looks like a very large tree. The big trench that I followed up ends right here. There's some tires down in there, and there's a couple other small ones on the side. I have yet to find any building foundations, but here's the end of that cut right here. It just kind of comes up and it stops. The highest part of that was about 50 to 60 feet high, going up the other side of the bank. So I wonder how many yards of coal they pulled out of there. Material they moved out of there with their mules. I'm going to backtrack here and make a loop back down over the mountain, see if I can find something else down here. I'm always very persistent when I'm looking for stuff. I cross and recross my tracks. Sometimes you can walk right past stuff and never see it. Just like that fossil on that stone. Sometimes things aren't very obvious, but the more you look at it, you realize what you're looking at. Let's go back down here, see what else we can find. Fossil number 2. This kind of looks like tree bark here. You can see it. I'm only about 20 yards from where the other rock was. It had the animal tracks in it. Lots of berries up here. I believe this is a huckleberry. It's in the blueberry family, but they have more seeds in the middle, and they are also very tasty. The top of this mountain is covered with these. If there was ever a controlled burn up here, you'd probably have an extremely healthy crop of berries on top of this mountain. It's very beautiful back here. There's another slag pile. They seem to be all through the woods. The Appalachian Trail should be at the bottom down here. And the seam that I followed, the end of it is right here, and it went all the way down to the Appalachian Trail. So I believe I walked about 150 yards following that seam. There should be some more mines here on this side. I don't believe I'm up to Yellow Springs. I don't think I'm going to walk up that far today. We'll save that for another day. Let's continue to zigzag down here through the mountain, see if we can find some openings I can shine my through night into. All right, we'll be right back. Cut number 3. This one's not too big. I don't want to walk in here too far. There's some water bubbling out of the ground. There's a cut in here. It's fairly small. It could just be digging down the seam. And I've only gone about 50 yards. So all these dug up spots are in the same area. My foot dropped in that one a little bit too far. It made me feel a little uneasy. I definitely not going to walk in any more of these. All right, let's continue down the mountain here. Sign of life. Finally some action in the woods. I got an old Firestone tire. This looks really old. What's it say here? Firestone Transport. It almost looks like a donut. It's all rounded off. Not much left on that tire. And found a few of those in the cut directly behind me. So now I'm starting to double back. Make a wide circle of where I came up. No steel, no building foundations. And you always wonder if there's any equipment left behind back in here. That nature grew up around. Mother Nature will grow over top of anything if you give her enough time. Lots of small holes in here. All right, the search will continue. Now I'm down over the bank from where I went up. I went up the other side. Now we're coming down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of yards of material came out of that large gully. There's another pile there. I think they would have left some old equipment behind back here. The woods robins are very vocal back here. You can listen to them for a few minutes. Singing their heart out. Bugs are getting hungry. The search is continuing. Here's another cool campsite. The AT is right there. There's an enormous slag pile over here. Let's take a walk over here. No equipment or iron anywhere. I don't see any foundations, just these little truck tires. I did find 2 of them. Old Firestone tires. This is quite an impressive seam. This goes up over top of the mountain quite a ways. That was quite a hike up there. You can look down in there. That's about a 20-30 foot drop. That's quite a cut. It goes all the way up the mountain, then it goes into the ground. That could just be a seam. There's even slag piles up top there. Okay, back where I started. Now I'm going to follow the AT because I saw some openings there when I went through here in the fall last year. Lots of yards of material. Another mine next to the AT here. This one's on the right side. I don't think I'm going to walk in any of them. Since the last one I went in, my foot dropped a little bit too far down in that subsidence. Here's another one here. These seem to be on both sides. I don't see any openings. Just keep walking up here. I'm sure there's a few more up here. Hopefully I can find an opening that I saw in the fall when I was here. It was easier to spot because all the leaves are starting to come down. Now everything's greened over, so it's hard to find. Do a pan around here. There's a slag pile there. That's the one I just checked out. Not a soul for miles. New cell service. There's the white blaze going down to the shelter. So peaceful back here. Many things hiding in these woods. But the stone tower is back there on the mountain on the right, and I believe that was a ventilation tower for the mine. I've heard they used to build fires in the mine underneath of that to get the draft, so it would start pulling the air out of the mine shaft. Very dangerous if you have some gas in there. And the general is also up on top of the mountain here somewhere on the right. I've never actually hiked up that far, but that's definitely on the hit list. The stone tower and the general. It just never seems to be enough time to get around to walk all the way back in there and check them out. All right, let's continue up. Very beautiful in here. That's Rausch Creek working its way down through the boulder piles. A lot of that water's coming right out of the ground. The vent hole that I found last year must not be there anymore. I did find the area. We've had a few hefty rainstorms. I believe the one storm dropped 3 inches of rain in an hour, and I'm going to say that it's not there anymore. When I did check out that spot, you could feel the cold air coming out of it, so I'm going to guess it was a vent. And I could kind of see down in there, but at the time I did not have enough candle power to look in there. And most of the mine drainage is coming out of the side of the mountain here from all the mines up on top of here. And the limestone treatment plant actually reduces the pH quite a bit going down to Stony Creek. But unfortunately there's no water coming out of there right now because the water level's too low. Or the intake where the water goes in is either clogged or damaged. There's a small dam above that backs the water up. It forces the water into that limestone treatment plant, but that's not running right now. All right, thanks for coming along today. Thanks for watching PA Timber Ghost. This video was a bust. Still very beautiful back here, and I could not find the opening that I did in the fall. I'm sure there's lots of other hidden treasures back here. Wintertime would be a better option when there's no foliage on the trees. As always, like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to PA Timber Ghost, welcome to the family. Help my channel grow. Hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like and it'll help the channel grow. As always, thanks for being part of the family, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.